The article Digitalisation, Unpaid Labor and Anganwadi Services discusses the push of or the immediate push to digitalization of Anganwadi services through an application called Poshan Tracker. The article traces the implementation of Poshan Tracker app and how it has been brought to the picture and what is happening at the ground level with respect to the application and what are its wider implications. The key motivation or the why and how I reached this kind of a research, this kind of a research inquiry is after following a series of protests that was happening in and around Delhi earlier this year, and also particularly in some states such as Haryana and Punjab. So, as we all might know, Anganwadi workers, Anganwadi helpers who are part of Anganwadi services are all women workforce, and they're categorized as scheme workers, referring to the scheme called ICDS under which Anganwadi services fall in. So, the scheme workers, as we understand in India, even though are working in several government schemes, are not even recognized as workers. They are called voluntary workers or honorary workers, and which the implication of which is they do not get any right of a worker or any social security measure that a worker is entitled to. So when there are all these discussions, when there are writings about all these discussions, uh, uh, at the protest sites where these protests were happening, what I could observe is a particular point about Portion Tracker or the digitalization of Anganwadi services that was discussed much in these areas, but which was not getting enough attention in the academia or in the scholarly world on how it is affecting the Anganwadi services in itself. So, I in the article I trace how the Portion Tracker digital real time monitoring through Portion Tracker came into being, how this application itself is creating a lot of issues for the women Anganwadi workers and helpers, and eventually, most importantly, what is happening with the data that is collected through Portion Tracker application, and what are how is it used, whether it's used to show that the nutrition the with the nutritious so nutrition is an important entry point through which the article is approached, whether these data is used to show whether the level of nutrition or the malnourishment. The real picture is not what is shown elsewhere. The real picture is much better. If so, whether it's a valid way of looking at the data. So these are all aspects that is covered in the article. The article is only an entry point to an area which needs wider discussions and deliberations, primarily because it's something that affects a lot of people in the country, and more than that, it is something, this push towards digitalization, that is quite often portrayed as the solution to a problem, whereas the real problem leaves unaddressed most of the times. Thank you.